everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review. And for today's review, we're going to be taking a look at the brand new release DC Collectibles Batman Arkham Knight 7-inch Red Hood as Arkham Knight figure. Now this figure comes packaged in the same style of packaging we've been seeing with all the Arkham Knight figures. You've got the figure clearly displayed. On the borders of the packaging, it's made to look like Batman's armor. Off to the side, you've got the name of the character, and it tells us it's figure number 12 in the series. On the side of the packaging, you just have that kind of computer-generated image of the character and the name. And then on the back of the packaging, we have a look at all the figures in the third wave. So Azrael, Professor Pig, and Man-Bat were all released a while ago, several months ago, and so we're finally now just getting Red Hood. And then it tells us the figure was sculpted by Gentle Giant Studios. Okay, so let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside the packaging. Now there's very little new here that we haven't already seen in this line. The figure only has one accessory, and that's the rifle, and this is the exact same rifle that we saw with the regular Arkham Knight figure. There's really no differences between these two rifles. It does have pretty nice sculpting detail on it. You've got the scope at the top, and it's done with that metallic silver, and then you've got the brown on the handles and the black for the back stem. So again, pretty nice detail on this. It would have been cool. It would have definitely been cool if they had somehow made it so you could split it apart and make it into two pistols like you see in the video game. The figure itself, this is mostly just a reuse of the regular Arkham Knight figure. The legs are exactly the same. The arms are the same. Even the upper body is pretty much the same. You do have these different chest pieces up here with the with the red symbol on his chest as opposed to the Arkham Knight symbol, and the shoulder pads are different. But other than that, and I think these are separate pieces on the figure, so I think the body itself is actually the same. They just removed this piece, which was a rubber type material, this chest piece, and then put on this new one. And again, that is how it looks in the video game. Batman rips off the Arkham one, and then later we see him with the red symbol and such. So for the head, obviously the head is different than the regular Arkham Knight figure, but the head is a reuse of the one that we saw in that GameStop exclusive Red Hood figure. So these are the same heads, maybe a little bit different paint with the silver pieces that you see on it, but again, it's the same head sculpts. Now, it would have been cool once again if they had managed to do something like kind of give that, you almost in the video game, it almost looks like you can see like his skull underneath it. So I don't know how they would have been able to pull that off, but it would have been cool if they could have added that effect somehow. But again, this is a pretty cool, this is that red metallic paint that they use, and then again you've got some silver highlights on it, so it looks pretty decent. And then overall with the figure, just like with the Arkham Knight one, I think they did a nice job as far as the paint applications and sculpting detail and everything. You've got that red camo pattern. I like how the red symbol turns out on the figure, and the shoulder pads. I like these shoulder pads a little better than the one on the regular Arkham figure, and again, they're done with that kind of rubber material, and they're just glued on there. The belt, you've got the pouches and the canisters and everything sculpted on there, and again, that's a separate piece that's glued on. The pouches are made with that kind of rubber material, and then you've got these canisters off on his left leg, and those are glued onto the figure. And again, nice detailing. No sloppiness with the camo pattern at all, so really nice detailing there. And then I like the dark metallic paints that they use on the armor pieces. It definitely gives it that metal look. Now I will say I kind of like the paint that they used on the arms of the regular Arkham figure a little bit better. It's not drastically different. Like here you can see it's a little bit darker and a little bit shinier, so I just think it stands out a little bit more, and so it looks a little nicer. Got nice sculpting detail again with these pieces that go around, these armor pieces that go around his wrist. And then the back of the figure is, except for the shoulder pads, are identical. You've got that armor with the scratch marks on it and stuff, so I think that looks good on the back of the figure as well. So the figure stands just a little bit over 7 inches tall, and roughly the same height as the Arkham Knight figure. The Arkham Knight figure with the pointed ears is maybe a hair taller, and then again about the same height as the GameStop exclusive Red Hood figure. And then finally, here's a comparison with the Arkham Knight Batman figure, and Batman is a little bit taller than Red Hood, as I believe he was in the video game. Articulation is the same as the regular Arkham Knight figure, which is to be expected. The head you can turn left and you can turn right. Really doesn't have much in the way of up or down movement. Arms are attached with your standard ball hinge joint at the shoulder so he can get his arm out good, and he's got pretty good rotation. The arm does kind of rub against those shoulder pads, but because they're rubber, it doesn't really limit the movement there. Does not have a bicep swivel, does have swivels at the elbow, single hinged elbows, but can still bend it pretty good. Got swivels at the wrist, and you have hinges on the hands, so you've got some up and down movement there with the hands. You've got a midsection joint, so you've got rotation there at the midsection, and then you have an ab crunch joint, and he can crunch down good, and he can look back pretty good, though it does look kind of funny when you have him look all the way back like that. No waist swivel. Legs are attached with ball joints. He can only do the splits about that much, and then he can get his leg forward about that much, and he can do his leg back about that much. He's got a thigh swivel, double jointed knees, so he's got good bending at the knees, and then no kind of boot cuff swivel or anything. And then he's got hinges on the feet, so he's got pretty good up and down movement with the feet, and he does have ankle pivot and 2 peg holes on the bottom of his feet. Okay, so that's my review. Overall, I like this figure, just like I did with the Arkham Knight figure. I think this is a really nice figure with good sculpting detail and paint applications. The red hood's pretty cool looking. I think it would have been cool if they had maybe added something to it, like either some pistols like you see him using in the game, even if they didn't make it so they could connect together to form the rifle. If they just added the pistols, that might have been cool. Or an alternate head maybe with a cracked mask, or the Arkham, an alternate Arkham head with the mask lift up so you see Jason Todd's face. Those would have been kind of cool additions to set it apart a little bit more than the regular Arkham Knight figure. But as it is, the figure itself, as I said, I think is good solid paint applications, and looks true to what we saw in the video game. So this figure is hitting comic and specialty shops now. We'll have a full gallery of images up at toynewseye.com. There'll be a link in the description below. And as always, leave a comment, let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. Also, if you haven't already, please follow me on my Facebook and or Twitter pages. I'll have links to those in the video description as well. And until next time, I'll catch you later.